Welcome. In this video, I'll be showing off some of the features of my JSON Editor Tool, or J.E.T for short. In my game, players are able to cast various spells. Rather than coding how to handle each spell individually, I define them as JSON objects that are interpreted dynamically. This makes it easy to add, remove, or alter existing spells, since I don't need to recompile the game between changes. This file only has a single JSON spell defined. Let's add some more. When you are using J.E.T, the first thing you need to do is define the format. The bottom left panel is the format panel and is what defines what J.E.T's output will look like. Let's load an example format. Now that J.E.T knows what the data should look like, we can load in the list of spells from our JSON resource file. And voila! J.E.T has extracted the objects out of the blob that match the spell data format. As mentioned earlier, there's only one, /. It has appeared in the top right panel, or the blob items panel. Clicking on a blob item will load it into the middle pane, or editor panel. Now that a JSON object has been loaded, each of its properties may be updated. In the case of arrays and subobjects, each child property may be adjusted as well. Now, let's use J.E.T to make a new JSON object. Once you have a blob file loaded, you are able to click Add New Item to do just that. J.E.T will generate an empty version of the JSON object based on the format that has been defined. Numeric properties will default to 0, while string properties will have the empty string instead. The object I am making today is a spell for the Reaver, a big axe-toting hero whose blows are so powerful they even damage himself. To represent this, we need to add two effects to the spell object, one to deal damage to the opponent, and one to cause the Reaver to deal damage to himself. The format we're using has an array property named effects for this purpose. The last panel to be aware of is the descendant panel in the bottom right. The items in this box correspond to all classes in the assembly that inherit from whatever you have defined as the dynamic object. In my case, it is a class named generic effect. These, in combination, are what drive each spell in my game. Descendant classes are designed to be dragged onto properties or arrays defined as dynamic object. Once that's done, we can press Save Blob to save the results of our editing back to the original spells JSON file. And as you see, J.E.T has matched the format, and both JSON objects are now sitting in our resource file. Thanks for listening.